carry us from our fathers.
Then Catholic woman stood and he was sliding everywhere. He said, oh yes, now this is the black Catholic woman.
But these are not only mantles, but spiritual authorities that have paid the cost, stood the test of time.
You are given 6 hours to leave the country.
And made lots of sacrifices for the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Many of us invested in the school, college, university ministry.
But these are not only mantles, but spiritual authorities.
One of the things that bring revival in this country is the power of the Holy Spirit, the presence of the Holy Spirit.
Catch Tracing the Mantles every Sunday from 8:30, hosted by Pastor Zunda Juma, only on Elevate TV.
Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, our viewers, welcome to the Monday Morning Digest. I'm your host, Godfrey Gichuki. This is a wonderful Monday morning, the 1st of July, 2024. The year, as you can tell, is halfway done. I hope you're having a great time. I hope you're having a great beginning of the week. Join us for this Monday Morning Digest, wonderful conversation. We're going to be talking about the passive income, the hidden secrets of property-backed investments. And I have a guest with me on the show, and I'm sure you're going to learn a lot today. And so before we begin the conversation, I want to ask you to share the links with your friends on the social media platforms. We are live on Nairobi Kenya, Facebook page and YouTube channel. Please share, and also remember to subscribe and get other people to join in this conversation. So welcome, and I look forward to this wonderful Monday morning. I believe it's an amazing conversation, and you're going to enjoy as we enjoy this conversation. So let me introduce our guest to us. My guest today is Charles Nyandia, and he is the CEO of an organization called Naivera Holdings, and he's in the property development space, and so we're going to be hearing from him. So Bwana Charles Nyandia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Pastor Gigi.
Right. Yeah, good to have you here, and we've been looking forward to this conversation. We spoke, over the weekend. We agreed that you're coming on the show to tell us about where the opportunities are.
Yeah.
As you know very well, these last few weeks, Kenya has been going through a very tumultuous time, and so we want to try and shift the conversation now back to business.
Yeah.
So let's begin. You telling us a little bit more about yourself, your background, and how you got into the property development space, and then we take it off from there.
Thank you so much, Pastor Gigi, for having me here. I really appreciate this opportunity. This church has really been a great inspiration in me, and I have so many men of God who really pray for me, pray for us, and support us. Especially Dad.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm Charles Nyandia. Thank you for the good introduction. I'm the current CEO at Naivera. Naivera is an organization that is in the business of enabling people to build passive income through investments in affordable rental apartments. So these are property-backed investments. And personally, as Charles, I have been in the financial sector as well as in the property industry for now going to 12 years. And my motivation has been building products, especially that target the middle class and the lower middle class, to help them, invest sustainably, and also, do their financial transactions in a more efficient way. That's where my passion for technology, I was actually born. In fact, what I do in property is a sync and a marriage between technology, or what we call, property, financial technology, as well as now bringing in properties or commercial real estate as a way to invest more sustainably. And then we combine the two to form what we call property technology. So I have a background as well in building technology products with a lot of passion, in developing, such kind of products. UI, UX, and all that. So I'm also good when it comes to planning, affordable housing projects and executing them. And of course, generally real estate investment advisory. So that is me. And when you are not, when you don't find me, in office, I like adventure and golfing.
Exactly. All right, wonderful. That's a very good background. I think you've laid it out very well. So I think we can talk about, we can go straight into the investment, the business model, because in the space where you're in, and I like the fact that you're combining both technology and the real estate, the property development and technology, that's creating a link. Give us a little bit of your take on the whole industry, how it's laid out. I mean, we know the real estate, the property development space has a lot of players and a lot of options. There are those who buy plots and build for themselves. There are those who build to sell. There are those who, what we call sell off plan schemes. They have a project, they set up the houses and people buy, and the houses are constructed as you go along. So, and it's manual, so you keep visiting the site to see how your house is being built. And as you pay along the way. And then once the project is done, then they hand over and you have your home or your property. So I think you can tell us where your business, the niche where you plugged in that space, and also tell us how the industry is doing.
Thank you so much for that question. A lot of people actually ask because they really find our model quite different, and they dig deeper to understand exactly who is Naivera. And it's good to say about who we are not first, because we are not selling land, and we are not just selling houses, and we are not just property developers. So who are we then? So we are an intermediary that is de-risking investments, especially in the real estate sector. And we specifically promote investments in properties that generate income.
Okay.
That's why we talk about passive income.
Okay.
So that's the difference between us and and the whole now real estate industry. So we are positioning as an intermediary to address the biggest challenges that have been there in the market.
Okay.
You understand that people have lost a lot of confidence in investing, especially in real estate projects, especially houses.
Yes.
Because maybe they invested and things didn't work out, money was misused, or things just didn't work out for them.
Okay.
And they become averse in as much as they have ever had a lot of passion with that sector. Their investments, priorities now change and preferences simply because there has been mistrust in the market.
Okay.
So what are we doing as Naivera is to put in structures that can promote and bring back the confidence of these investors by being an intermediary, whereby we are sorting out the biggest of the challenges that have been there, looking at the risk of investments, also looking at now the need for financing and liquidity when it comes to projects, and also how projects are implemented and managed from arrangement or from design all the way to the management. So that is actually what we do to de-risk those investments as we connect people who need capital to the capital that they require, and as we mobilize, of course, cheaper capital towards implementation of these affordable housing projects so that they can be reachable to the big, or rather to the mass market.
Okay.
These are individuals in the middle class and the lower middle class who would want to invest in real estate sector, but for some reasons, because of the high risks and because of lack of affordable financing, they are not able to invest.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I think that lays it out very well. So basically, you're looking at customers or people who want to invest in the real estate.
Yes.
So you talk about the middle class and lower middle. Okay. Kind of like entry level,
yes.
Investors.
Exactly.
The people who don't have too much capital,
yes.
But they want to have a piece of the action in the real estate.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I like is you mentioned is the idea of, say, there is a project and they are looking for investors. You also come in there to connect with actual potential investors.
Exactly.
Even if they are perhaps, they are small scale investors, but nonetheless you are able to mobilize them to come into that space.
Yeah, the whole issue is to de-risk.
Okay.
And how do you de-risk, or how do you reduce the risk of these investments?
Okay.
So that means you have to have your hand on the production side or the supply side, and have a hand on the demand side, and regulate that process so that each player definitely meets what they want, and the whole process is de-risked.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's talk about some of the if somebody out there is looking at investment, who exactly are you looking for in terms of potential investors? Maybe you can share that so that people can know. If I want to get into this investment, this is the guy I need to talk to.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Our key and our main client, or our main prospect, in whatever we do, it's someone who would want to, number one, invest.
Yes.
Looking at how they can employ their money to work for them.
Okay.
Looking at how they can make more income. So this could be someone who is employed and they are asking, how can I make extra income?
Okay.
Because my costs are higher. Anyway, everyone wants more income regardless of whatever purpose.
Yes.
So that is the investor, or that's the target client that we are looking for. We are looking at this person who is preparing for his retirement, someone who really wants to put their money where tomorrow that money will give them more income, because we are talking about building incomes today through rental income, and also having an asset that is appreciating, which can help you in future and which can also easily be made into liquid.
Okay.
Or rather, it can be sold out, and you can make, you can collect that money and do something else.
Okay.
So ideally, we are looking at those kind of individuals. There is another product which will be opening up. We are already in the process of getting license from the capital markets.
Okay.
Though we are doing it at a smaller scale, where people who may not necessarily want to buy an affordable apartment because maybe their money is not sufficient, they can still invest in the affordable housing, or rather in the real estate sector, by financing someone who is buying, or rather who is in the process of acquiring a house, but they don't have sufficient money for that purpose.
Okay.
So they invest on like a property-backed debt instrument.
Okay.
So that's what we are doing. All this is geared towards driving finance towards affordable housing, because
Okay.
you can see how the government is working hard to provide housing through all the means. So as a private player, or rather as a private company, we are also working towards promoting that through a different product. So ideally, that's our focus in terms of our customers.
Right.
Anyone can become an investor. Anyone, we always start by educating our clients, because people sometimes don't understand what they need until they get to know. Today things could be very moving very well because someone is comfortable working. But if that job stops, how will you survive? Without income, So you realize even that person who feels they are sufficient today, there is need for them to look at how they can create, more income and sustainably invest. And that's now how we come with an asset class which is reachable to most of those people in that category, so that at least they can caution themselves against eventualities of tomorrow that sometimes are not predictable.
Okay. Okay. Maybe the other thing you could mention is typical returns. So if I invest, I like what you're describing, an asset class which is actually affordable, which is reachable for the average person. So give a typical investment, describe a typical investment. If I have $500,000, what would that mean? How much would I, what would that, produce or as in terms of passive income using this particular model?
Thank you for that question. Specifically, let me address a product where someone buys a house or buys a rental apartment.
Yes.
And we are talking about apartments ranging from 1.3 million shillings going upwards. There's a time we were selling some apartments at less than $1 million shillings in Juja.
Okay.
And for example, talking about those clients, those who are renting out, those apartments that are rented by JKUAT students, because the project is just opposite JKUAT, Gate A.
Yes.
The students pay 10,000 shillings. Of course, there are others that pay 9,000 shillings for an apartment. And someone bought it, for example, at 900,000.
Okay.
You can imagine how long will it take for that person to recover their money, and what is the return on investment based on that. It's actually a higher of 10% in terms of rental yields per annum. And this is an asset, it's still growing in value, because that value that they invested on has grown, because this is a capital asset. And based on the maintenance of that structure, the value of that asset has grown. So you can imagine that person still decides to sell sometimes in the near future. There is the capital appreciation, which we normally put on average 7%. Then you add the 10%. You can imagine now what that means.
Okay.
That you're talking about an upwards of 16%.
Okay.
But in terms of rental yields, we are talking about 10%.
Okay.
So that is the thing. And this is a capital. It's something that you own.
All
and
right.
when you get a title, you can use it to get maybe a loan somewhere. Because I know during this discussion, we'll explain to people who normally ask, can you have a title for an apartment, or rather on a house that someone else has a room besides me and
and one below
where I am.
And one above.
Yeah, that has been strange to many people, and I think we shall mention about it.
As we shall go into the details of how that system works.
But currently, maybe it's good to mention about what we have currently. Like in Juja, I mean in Roiro. We have studio apartments.
Okay.
Of course, the price has increased since we started. Currently, we are talking about 1.8 million studio.
Okay.
Of course, they were cheaper sometimes back, but
Okay.
they have grown in terms of price over time. If that apartment gives you rental income of anything 14, 15,000 upwards. I'm saying that because we have some that bring, or rather that yield 17,500 shillings for a studio. You can imagine a studio is a bed sitter, but it's a nice bed sitter.
Yes.
That of course those people who stay in there are comfortable to stay in a room that is, you know, contained.
Yes.
But it's very elegant because
Yes.
of the features that the amenities come, or rather the facility comes with. So 17,500, for example, and you made an investment of 1.8 million. You can calculate what that is in terms of the annual yield. Okay?
Yes.
It's quite high.
All right.
And that explains also to the reason why we only talk about Nairobi, investing in Nairobi, and we encourage investors maybe to maximize on opportunities within Nairobi than outside Nairobi, because the rental income in Nairobi cannot be compared with anywhere.
Okay.
I can tell you in Kenya.
Yes.
So that's why we also concentrate our investments around Nairobi, because the goal is to create a higher return on investment for you as an investor.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, as you follow this conversation, we are talking about creating passive income and the secret in property-backed investments. And I believe those of you that are out there that you have some spare cash, or you probably want to create an investment that actually will cushion you, that will help you, add money into your pocket on a regular basis. This is like a retirement plan. Instead of putting your money in grade cows when you retire, or investing your money in a business at the end of your career, perhaps this is one of the investments that you can actually, choose, that actually guarantees you a monthly income, no trouble, and these guys will actually manage the property for you. By the way, maybe you need to assure viewers that you also manage the property once somebody buys through your company. You're actually able to, you have the technology so that they can see their money hitting their bank account without making any calls. Is that the case?
Yeah, usually, just to maybe make a comparison, when someone invests in land, we call it speculation, because you expect one day you can be able to sell that, and you make some money on top of that.
Yeah.
Which is very okay. On our end, it's almost similar. The only difference is that when you buy this apartment, there's a potential that it can generate you rental income.
Yes.
The price range is almost similar, and that's the difference on our model with other, kind of investments out there when it comes to housing. When people hear housing, they find, they interpret this is a very serious, expensive investment. Me, I cannot afford.
I don't qualify.
Yeah, but in Naivera, our pricing is almost actually the range of buying land.
Yes.
The difference is when you buy an apartment will be generating, it has the potential of generating rental income. So the question comes, how will I generate income, or rather how will I manage this property? And me, I'm quite far away. Will I be coming to manage a property in Nairobi? And maybe to answer that question, I'll tell you we have so many clients even outside the country who have bought an apartment here, but they are managing that apartment from US.
Okay.
Yes, others from different parts of the world, others even from here in Kenya, but someone cannot even come from Mombasa to come and look for a tenant here. So what happens? There's a technology solution that connects you to your house.
Okay.
Although you have a choice, because the house is yours, isn't it? Kuna wengine, or rather there are others who give the houses to their kids, because maybe their kids are in the university. Instead of renting out a house outside, they just give it, you know, to their sons, and now, you know, instead of paying other landlords, it's like now you are paying yourself, you know. That's being smart.
Yes.
Yes, so you're at liberty. If you think you can still manage yours, just manage. But we have the option whereby we can help to manage for you, and you can manage your house remotely from wherever you are on the phone. We have a product that we call Assetisha.
Okay.
That gives you control and visibility of your asset.
Okay.
So we get the tenant, and of course now you can be able to withdraw your income from the app, and you can also access other investment opportunities within the app, which are property backed.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. This is very good. I have some guests, some viewers here who are commenting on the Facebook page. Teresa Karaoke saying good for enlightening us. And so, and of course, Wilbur Wanyonyi here is following the conversation, and others. Thank you very, very much indeed. We are talking about here passive income. I think, Charles, what I like is the idea that, look, let's even make some bit of comparison. If today you want to buy an average SUV, you know, entry-level SUV, you know, the smaller hybrids, we're talking about between 2 to 3 million.
Yes.
Whether it's a Harrier, in fact, some of them are even go for 3.5. And you see, there are a lot of people who actually have the capacity to buy those kind of units. So instead of putting your money in that CX-5 Mazda, you know, fancy car, and maybe you have another car, and spending 2.5 million, so you can actually buy a flat instead. And that flat begins to put money in your pocket right away, depending on whether the project has been completed. So what you're saying is that this is a much, much better model of investment, because I think Kenyans, you know, Kenyans tumezoea kununua shamba. You know, we want to go and see the beacons. You know, that's what we are excited about. See the beacons, show our wives the beacons, and tell them, look, this is land. You know, now you have a piece of land, and that's it. And so you park your money on an empty piece of land, and it just sits there. While actually what you need is actual cash flow. You know, because cash flow is king, as they say.
Yes.
So you are giving people an opportunity through your organization, okay, to be able to realize those kind of dreams and think differently. So
thank you so much, Pastor Gigi, for bringing out that conversation. It's quite a deep conversation.
Yes,
because it boils down to actually prudent financial management and financial, you know, planning.
Yes.
Basically, people go to school to learn so many things, but I won't lie to you. If there's something that people ignore,
yes,
and they come to learn about it when they are already old,
yes,
it's matters of financial planning,
yes,
and financial management from an individual perspective. Organizations invest a lot of money. CEOs go to do courses so that they can build their capacity to manage the organization.
Yes.
But individuals, people don't spend time. They think because salary has come in and they're able to meet their daily needs, now there is no need for more planning. And that's where the problem comes in. Because you're supposed to budget and always make sure you have provided a portion of whatever you earn towards investment.
Right.
So I'm saying this because what you have asked is quite debatable, because someone could say that CX-5 or that SUV is an asset to them, and they make money through it because of presentations and what have you. When they go with it somewhere, they can be able to unlock some money. So it's an asset to them.
Yeah.
But the question is not whether they can buy it or not, because it's all dependent on the individual goals and targets.
Okay.
What we are simply saying is that make sure, as you diversify your investments, as you plan your life and make yourself comfortable, try to look at eventualities that may come which you don't plan for.
Okay.
And don't lie to yourself that you are making investments while ideally you are not making.
Yes.
So we are just defining and making it more realistic that at a cost of 2 million shillings, for example, you can be able to own an apartment which is yours within Nairobi, which can generate you rent or income on monthly basis, okay? And which is an asset that is appreciating. And in case things even go wrong, there's a house that you can stay in. You don't have to. You get my point? you know things happen. Eh? It's your house. It's an asset. And you can use that asset as well to unlock some capital for more developments in future.
Okay.
So it all depends on priorities and how you're planning, your finances.
Okay. We're going to go into a short break, and then we'll come back to that conversation. This is becoming very interesting. All right, so I can see some of you have just joined in this conversation. We are taking a short break, but don't go away, because we're going to return to this. Some of you have money, some of you don't know how to invest, and we have some of the smartest people in the studio here. My friend Charles Nyandia, he's done an amazing job, and he has a very, very good business model. So let's take a break. We'll come back to this conversation shortly. Don't go away. Keep it here. God bless you.
The church is back at Uhuru Park. The chairman of the Standing Strong Ministers Conference, Apostle Othenio Mwabili, and the conference convener, Apostle David Juma, together with the Executive Planning Committee, invites all church leaders, students leaders, marketplace and corporate leaders to the 2024 Kenya edition of the Standing Strong Ministers Conference, taking place from Tuesday 9th to Friday 12th July 2024 at Uhuru Park Gardens, Nairobi, with leadership sessions running from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily, and open sessions from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. daily. The theme for this year's conference is Strengthening Your Brethren, drawn from Luke 22 verse 32. Ministering will be guest ministers Bishop Thomas Muthe from Kenya.
Your wickedness, that's no reason to give up. There is a God who begins from the void.
Bishop Stanley Molili from Kenya.
A transformational church must grow smaller as it grows bigger.
Apostle Yemi Adefarasin from Nigeria.
God is looking for people that are his representatives, who understand their redemptive destiny and purpose.
And Bishop Joseph Matera from USA.
You can bring heaven, you can manifest glory wherever you are.
And the host, Apostle David Juma and Pastor Sund Juma.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving from the one powerful anointed minister to the corporate body.
The church was birthed by the Holy Ghost, and the works of God can only be done by the Holy Ghost.
Find registration forms on our social media platforms. For more information, kindly call 0722 669651. The 2024 Kenya edition of the Standing Strong Ministers Conference. Don't miss out on this great opportunity of strengthening for your ministry work ahead. See you there. This conference is organized by various churches and is open to the whole body of Christ.
Welcome back. This is the Monday Morning Digest. I have an interesting conversation here. My guest, Charles Nyandia, he's the CEO of Naivera Holdings. It's an investment company. They are in the real estate, space. And I know some of you need to be investing your money. Some of you are very hardworking. You're very busy. You don't have time. You don't have the spare, luxury. Okay, yes, over the weekend you go around looking for plots and you know, and you go around with your friends, but it's the right time you begin to become a very smart investor. Somewhere Jogona Jirigo, I know you. Great conversation right there, Sir Gigi. I know you are following this conversation. I want you guys to learn how to invest smart. Evans Gichuki, better learn how to invest. Shiagara Omtai is watching. Please make sure you get everything we say today. This is going to help you. So, Charles, let's go back to this whole issue of, you know, we give a very typical example. You have 2 million shillings, you are in your mid-30s, and you're very, very busy. And you're probably thinking life is going to be like that until 20 years later, then you discover, I wish I invested when I had the money. You know, that money was flowing through my hands. Yeah, so you say you need to actually pay attention to the opportunities that are available. Yes.
Yeah, you know, we are just speaking matters of investment, the Kenyan style.
Yes.
When I mean the Kenyan style is because people usually hear about investments everywhere. Everyone will tell you, invest here, do this, do this. But for some reasons, those investments don't align to most people's goals and desires.
Okay.
Right from when most of the Kenyans were young, most of them, I'm saying most of them, if not all of them, they would want to be landlords.
Yes.
Ni watu wachache sana watakangi kuwa landlord.
Okay.
But the question is, what does it take you to become a landlord?
All right.
Okay. So, could this be one of the dreams that people normally have, but you keep on putting them backwards because, okay, this one I can't afford. I wanted to be a pilot. So you realize your grades cannot allow you. So you put it now, kando, now you look for something else.
Yes.
Hata hii landlord, inaendanga tu hivo. Simply because these people don't have easy ways of achieving it. And practical ways of achieving it. What I'm simply trying to put across is this. If you ever have a dream of becoming a landlord,
yes,
it is now more possible than ever.
Okay.
Because, and I give you a story of one of our investors who actually buy 4, 5 apartments in every project that we are in.
Yes.
He had a plot at somewhere along the Outer Ring Road.
Okay.
And he has been looking forward to develop that plot for the last, I think, 8 years.
Okay.
Mpaka ikafika mahali akajenga tunyumba twa mabati so that at least hata kama ni watu wa 500 at least apate kitu from that
from that plot.
The problem that he had is, number one, the capital that would be required to develop that place, in as much as he has a very nice plot. Then number two, he's already employed and he's busy because he's a manager from wherever he works.
Yes.
So there's no time for going to construct. Na anajua ya kwamba mijengo inakuwa na wizi sana.
Yeah, you lose cement, you lose steel.
Most people will tell you, the moment you get into that space,
yes,
you realize mwenye anakujengea pia anajenga yake.
You actually build 2 houses, one for you, one for your foodie.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so many people have done developments anafikisha to ground floor ama first floor. A place that he could have gone up to 7th floor, up to 10th floor.
Okay.
The reason is why? Because of capital.
Okay.
So that dream is still valid.
All right.
Because you can now come and hang on this particular model, which is designed to de-risk and reduce the risks that people fear when it comes to investing in real estate.
Okay.
And you still now diversify your investment by having different units in different places that are giving you better rental incomes than even probably where you'd want to construct. Wajua kuna watu wanajenganga nyumba za gorofa mahali kwingine sitaki kumention mahali hata unaweza shinda huyu mtu sasa hii nyumba yote amejenga hapa rental income atapata pesa ngapi?
All right.
Comparing the value of, you know, land, anaangalia the value of land anaona ni kidogo, but mjengo yenye atawekelea hapo it's the same at the same cost na yenye angekuja ajenge hapa Rwaka ama Ruiru.
Yes.
But akawekelea hiyo mjengo mahali kuko chini. Now rental income inakuwa kidogo. Why go and bury your money where you won't get a good return on investment?
Okay.
Can you go buy even if it's 1, 2, 3 units somewhere? Somewhere prime, feasibility ishafanywa, the de-risking ishafanyika because you have projects paka zingine unakuja tu kununua nyumba ndio hii. Kwa hivyo hakuna risk ati utaibiwa.
Yes.
Then from there you can now be expecting some income from it. So that's the whole message, that it is possible that you could be busy working and making your money elsewhere. But I like something you mentioned.
Yes.
But people invest with their hands instead of with their brains. I like that. You see, your hands cannot do more than one thing.
Yes.
And that's the whole message about passive income.
Yes.
Passive income is where your money works for you.
Exactly.
And you'll never be financially independent
until
you are able to have the money that you already have.
Okay.
Inakutengenezea pesa zenye zinaweza kukusustain.
Yes.
Hiyo ndio time utasema enyewe niko na kakitu. But si ati mshahara ati ndio unasema you are financially independent. No. It's when the assets that you have amassed are giving you rental, or rather they are giving you income.
Right.
Whether it is bonds. You know, I'm a financial consultant. So, and I'm not just biased towards one form of investment. We even have bonds, you know, the government bonds and all those things.
Yes.
The idea here is, can you diversify so that you can be well cushioned financially? So it is possible. Even if you are working, the best way to invest is actually now to look for a model like now what you are doing.
Okay.
So that now you can meet your financial goals and plan properly.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, I like the conversation here. Michelle, mother, give us your contact, please. Somebody wants your contact now. So I think this is a very, very, very serious conversation here. Yeah. So Michelle, we will give you the contacts. We will make sure that you get Charles' number. I'll ask him to share with us his number and their number, and then that way you can be able to get in touch. So yes. Charles, I think the other thing is, because we also are talking about risk. So we have described the pathway that, look, you can find de-risked investment where the risk of losing your money is very low. These are apartments, an apartment which is under construction, or one which is a project which is been approved and everything. At what point, by the way, maybe you need to clarify, at what point do you start accepting money for an actual construction project? Is it when it is on paper, or when the construction, they are broken ground? At what point do you start accepting
That's
money?
a very good question. When we were starting, we actually didn't have in mind that we can do off-plan.
Okay.
Because off-plan comes with their own fears, especially amongst the market, or rather amongst our clients.
Yes.
They have fears. And those fears sometimes can be established, and they're understandable. And that's why we exist as Naivera. I told you we are not just developers.
Yes.
We are patched and positioned as an intermediary to de-risk investment.
Right.
So that we can be able now to make sure that where people take in their money, they get what they wanted to get.
Okay.
We have structures that normally manage that process, eliminating risks that are related to, financial risks, marketing risks, implementation risks. All those risks normally affect projects. That's why people lose in the money.
Okay.
So as Naivera, we position to do exactly that. So initially we thought we could just sell after we are done with construction.
Yes.
But then we realized after the first project, people are asking about the next one.
Okay.
Okay? And they are taking a bigger risk. There are people who understand the investment space, by the way,
Yes.
far better than others.
Yes.
Someone says, I want to come in early and at a better price.
Okay.
They understand the concept of high
Price.
risk, high return.
High risk, high return, and prices actually do change.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we need to lay it out very clearly, and you're the best to tell our viewers that if it is, say, for example, an off-plan construction a block of flat is going up. It has studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and it's actually all the houses are up for sale. It's best to buy when they are breaking ground, or when the project has been approved and it's out to, because prices tend to increase as the house is being constructed. Is that the case?
Just to give you a very good example as an answer.
Yes.
You saw me somewhere, you found me somewhere taking some tea.
Yes.
And nikasema mtu anisaidie nipoeshe.
Yes.
Because tulikuwa na haraka.
Yes.
there are people who prefer tea that is boiling wakikunywa. Wengine wanataka kama imepoa.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Na mwenye anakunywanga kama iko moto anashindango huyu sasa chai baridi. How would you take
cold tea?
Cold tea.
Yes.
The same case when it comes to investments. There are people who have high appetite for risk. Okay? Others are low risk.
Yes.
And there is nothing wrong with either.
Yes.
As long as they will invest. But the return on investment is normally
higher,
different for each.
Yes.
So it's according to their appetite. If you want to wait until imekamilika, it's only that the price is normally higher. Yule amekuja mapema, it's normally lower. However, because when I'm standing here, I'm a financial consultant, okay? And I'm never biased with what we are selling. You see, I'm first happy when people have knowledge and information than just buying what I have.
Okay.
Any time before you invest, get time to understand the model of implementation of that particular developer.
Okay.
Are they waiting for you to give the money so that they construct? Because there is a risk. If, for example, if that's the only thing,
yes,
or rather that's the only way that they are going to finance. Because what happens if people don't buy? If you buy alone, or you maybe 5 of you come, what happens? And you have a building that has 50 apartments or 100. That means your money only is not enough to construct that.
Okay.
So understand, always go deeper to understand what's your model.
Okay.
You see now, like ourselves, we don't necessarily depend on the proceeds from the customer.
Yes.
Even if they don't bring the money, it will still continue to be developed so that we can reduce the risk of the people who invested earlier.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you there so that we take another very short break, and then when we come back, we'll look at some of the comments and maybe some of the questions that are coming out of this.
Yes.
And absolutely, I like the conversation. I like the explanations. Yes. So we take a very short break. We'll come back to this conversation. Don't go away. Keep it here. God bless you, and we'll see you shortly.
There's no nation, no town, no city without fathers.
Being a Holy Spirit-driven church is New Testament.
The quality of the message, it was based in Acts chapter 2.
And I took my Bible and I went from street to street. Is anybody dead here?
We never met those miracles a reason to appeal for money or to be known. No.
Tracing the Mantles is a program whose core is to identify mantle carriers from our fathers.
Then Catholic woman stood and he was sliding everywhere. He said, oh yes, now this is the black Catholic woman.
But these are not only mantles, but spiritual authorities that have paid the cost, stood the test of time.
You are given 6 hours to leave the country.
And made lots of sacrifices for the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Many of us invested in the school, college, university ministry.
But these are not only mantles, but spiritual authorities.
One of the things that bring revival in this country is the power of the Holy Spirit, the presence of the Holy Spirit.
Catch Tracing the Mantles every Sunday from 8:30, hosted by Pastor Sunda Juma, only on Elevate TV.
Welcome back. This is the Monday Morning Digest. I'm talking to Charles of the Naivera Holdings. They are investors in the real estate sector. And Charles here is telling us how to invest, how to, create passive income. And I can see some of your comments that are coming in. Maina Kanyaru here is saying that this is a great opportunity to invest. I have personally visited the current project and it's amazing. And then Samuel Jogona Jirigo, he's my friend, he's a pastor. I know you're all the way watching from Kakamega, I know you. I am so glad you hosted CEO Naivera. I am a member. Wonderful, that's amazing. I encourage everyone to consider Naivera for better future. So yes, there is an opportunity for you. You know, instead of buying a piece of empty plot, you know, spend say 2 million, 3 million. Well, that of course depends on what your plans are. You can actually buy in a property where as soon as the house is completed, or you can actually buy a completed unit, you get tenants and you get your rental income right away. So that's what we're talking about. So Charles, before we went to the break, you know, we were talking about the timing, you know, of investment, because there are some investors who have an appetite for high risk. Others, no, you know, these young men, we can't trust them, you know, especially people like Charles with beards, we can't trust. so they say, I will only touch that investment after the houses are completed. But you are saying they will have to pay a little bit more. Yeah, so maybe we need to talk to some of these investors, people who actually have money, or who are expecting money, or who can actually sell off some of their assets and transfer them to this kind of thing. What the opportunity for them actually to really create a solid cash flow?
Yeah, I think you have answered the question, because the appetite for different investors is actually different.
Okay.
And the same comes now to the returns. They are also different. Those people who invest early definitely has higher potential of making more because of now the price differences that come with the process of development. However, because we said we are not biased, some of these projects, sometimes you have to wait and, for example, see, in case you are not sure about where you want to buy. Okay? So that's very important. But what people also sometimes ignore is the return on investment part.
Yes.
And when I'm saying this, I'm not just talking about this person who would want to buy. There are those who stick to what they have. Mtu anasema niko na plot yangu mimi. Kwa nini niende nikanunue nyingine niko na yangu? Na huku Murang'a, mwingine na huku Nyeri, mwingine na huku Nakuru.
Yes.
You know, all those people, their dreams are valid.
Okay.
And their goals are still okay. However, always take time to calculate the return on investment for what you develop.
Yes.
Ili usilalishe pesa.
All right.
Okay?
Yes.
It's good to mention that I'm a board member, and I'm a board member of real estate stakeholders. We call it Association of Real Estate Stakeholders in Kenya.
Right.
We have an association of more than 300 companies, and I happen to be in the board.
Right.
Where now we are like creating a self-regulation mechanism in the industry. That's why you have witnessed these days cases of people losing their money in investments have reduced.
Okay.
Because their membership, like the association which are really helping people to know how to manage properly and to avoid the scenarios where they can dupe, their customers.
Okay.
So most of these companies are selling land.
Right.
And we say there's nothing wrong in selling land as long as it's genuine land, okay? And it's being sold by genuine. So the moment you do your calculations and you realize that when I buy this property, it will give me some income after some time, or I can speculate and wait for some time niuze ili nipate pesa yangu. Fanya hiyo hesabu and make that decision.
All right.
Provided you have done your research on the company that you are buying from. So just to answer your question is that let the customer be at liberty of choosing what they want depending on their risk appetite.
Yes.
Exactly. And understand the organization that they are investing from. Know the people who are in there so that in case something goes wrong, you can be able to pinpoint specific people and ask a question.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's very, very amazing. In fact, somebody here is asking, with 1 million and I don't want a unit, advice please. If I have 1 million shillings, I don't want a unit, but I want to invest. Does Naivera have an opportunity for me to invest my 1 million? I don't want it. I don't care where you invest it, but I want to make sure, I want to know if I can actually be getting my money back on a regular basis.
Yeah, so the simple answer to that question is yes.
Okay.
Because on Assetisha, we have a product called Assetisha. You can be able to invest on funding someone who is buying a house.
Okay.
So this is like one person lending, you know, to the other, investing on another who is buying a property, and that property becomes the security.
Okay.
So this is a product that will be rolling out to the masses. Currently, we are in the process of getting license from the capital markets.
Okay.
Yeah, but we are doing it in a closed environment. Yeah, and we are in that process.
Okay.
So someone can actually invest by funding on someone who is buying a property.
Okay.
At a good rate. We are talking of 16%.
Okay.
Per annum, which is a very, very, very good rate.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wow, wonderful. So yes, don't let your money lie idle in the bank. You can talk to Charles, and the Naivera group can actually turn your money into an investment. And I really want to appreciate all of you that are following this conversation, that are engaging as we talk about you know, this investment model, the passive income asset, property backed investment. And it's a great way actually to make your money work for you, you know, to turn your shillings into wonderful you know,
investment.
Investment, and that's very, very important. So I want to just look at some of the comments that are coming in on the YouTube side of things. There are a couple of people who are following this conversation. Admin here, a great investment company from Naivera. Wanjiro Batia here is saying, thank you, Pastor Gigi. This is very insightful. Thank you, Wanjiro, for following this conversation. Karen Kibuchi is following. This is a very insightful conversation. People invest with their heart instead of engaging the mind seller. Yeah. Yeah. So people actually should use their mind. Don't just feel your way into an investment. It doesn't work. High risk appetite versus low risk appetite. That's Karen's observation here. So yeah, there are different people who actually look at investment differently based on their level of appetite. And that's very important. So because we don't have that much time, I think what I want to hear from you is currently the models that you have developed. I know we ran a documentary showing how you know, the kind of business you're running and all that, and it has attracted a lot of interest. So there are people who want to reach out. There are people who want to know whether there are specific packages, and you can give more details about yourself, the business, where you are, how can someone reach you? Yes.
So thank you so much, Pastor Gigi. So what you're saying is that your dream of becoming a landlord, your dream of becoming an investor is more real than ever today because of what Naivera has for you. You can be able to own an apartment in a prime area within Nairobi and its environs. These are high demand areas for tenants, and the big influx, you know, of people coming to the urban centers to look for jobs, and of course growth in terms of income amongst the young people, of course, creates a need for better housing, and that's actually what we respond to as Naivera, and inviting you and creating a way for you so that you can be a partaker of that opportunity by getting an apartment, either a studio or 1 bedroom. And actually most people ask, why studios and 1 bedrooms? Why not 3 bedrooms? I think that's a question which I'll answer. But you can get a studio or a bed sitter or an apartment. And the main reason why I do studios and 1 bedroom is because of their prices.
Yes.
And also the return on investment. Because bed sitters as compared to how much you invest, they give you a higher return, as well as the 1 bedrooms.
Yes.
Also, most of these people who look for these apartments, they are looking for such houses. And in case your house gets vacant because someone has left, it's very easy to get another one. Hata imaliza hikaangi sana. You get it? But for a 3-bedroom, when you lose a tenant, and remember the investment is higher. It could take a month or 2, and the loss would be higher. So we are saying you can own an apartment. You can manage it remotely from wherever you are. You'll be using a Setisha mobile application, which is our own technology, which we have put together so that it can help you. Number one, if you don't have enough capital, you can be financed, okay, to acquire that property. In case you have enough capital, well and good, you own it, and when it's ready and you have tenants, you can manage it remotely from wherever you are. And you can use the apartment even as your own house. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Where are your offices, and what are the telephone numbers or URLs and stuff like that?
Yeah, thank you. Our number is 0798 999 000. 0798 999 000.
Wow.
And we are based, our office is based in Westlands, just on Chiromolin, near the tallest building in Nairobi now. I think the GTC, it's in Westlands. Actually, ukiwa tu hapo, it's on Chiromolin, just next. And we have our projects in Roiro currently, and very soon, actually in the next a month, we'll be launching another one, which will be equally exciting. That has been actually conceived and brought on board because of much request and demand from our clients. So we'll be here to tell you about that as well.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. I like that. So there you have it. You have the details. You can actually invest in what, we call it passive income, because you don't have to call anyone, no telephone calls, there are no brokers. You own the property, and the rent comes straight into your account, and that's an amazing investment. So the number, just to remind you, is 0798 999 000. That's a very easy number to remember. And you can reach out to Naivera CEO Charles here. Nyandia is, very, very reachable gentleman. And I think a lot of people really should, put your money where your heart is, so don't let yourself be left behind. And of course, you also have to make sure you do your own investments, your own due diligence. When you invest your money in Naivera, you don't just transfer the money into their bank account and cross your fingers. You go and see the project itself. Make sure you check out all the details, look at the papers, make sure you sign the documents, you demand the documents, look at what you are signing up. I think, Charles, you need to assure the people that when they come to you, you don't just tell them this is the bank account, weka, atunaweza kuweka na M-Pesa. You can take them through the process.
Yeah.
So that you need to assure the viewers that this is not another scheme. It is something you make sure the client has verified all the details for themselves. Is that the case?
Yeah, that's very true. And maybe at that point I could answer a question that they normally ask.
Yeah.
So, of course, the documentations are always available. And even before you do the commitment, you are normally given all the documents.
Yes.
And of course you can be able to research more about us.
Yeah.
You can come and see, for example, the projects that you are doing, and because they are advanced, you're not buying the air. You can actually see even what you are buying, and you can do your searches and verify whatever you need to verify. Then people ask, what will I get upon buying it? And the answer is you get a title. So this is something that most people don't know, that you can get a title for an apartment or a flat.
Yes.
Yes, this is courtesy of the Sectional Properties Act 2020. Where by now you can actually be able to get a title for that apartment, and no one can interfere with it. Kuna mtu alisema mimi sasa nikinunua hiyo nyumba na mwenye ako chini yangu akipanga kubomoa yake ama kufanya vitu zake, but there is a code of conduct, and of course there is stipulations in terms of how such common spaces are supposed to be managed, so that your investment can still stand and work. So people get titles for their apartments, which is a security document, and it's good for you to confirm even through your lawyer. By the way, we advise for such kind of an arrangement, come with your lawyer. Actually, lawyer mwenye anaelewa mambo ya Section of Properties Act, especially these lawyers in Nairobi, they will advise you, they'll tell you, oh, yes, this is okay. What they are telling you is okay. Okay? They are not exaggerating, because that's what the law says, and this is what you should get. Because what the sales agreement promises you, that is what you are supposed to get after.
Okay, we've run out of time, Charles. So we are very, very happy to have had you here, and you explained to us the opportunities for these investments. So look at that camera, and just in 30 seconds, just a final parting shot.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. It's quite a privilege, and also to have audience as important as you people who are viewing us, and those who will also be viewing us, later on. We are talking about investments, and we say the best time to focus on investments, it's not tomorrow, because making and diversifying some of these investments, through sustainable investment, opportunities, it's not inevitable, and time to do them is today. Just make sure you diversify. Start somewhere. In case you haven't started, start somewhere. We are saying investment is a must. And in case real estate investment is your thing, Naivera then is the plug that we can help you to own an apartment and build passive income through investments in affordable rental apartment. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We got to bring this to a close. Thank you very much for staying tuned in, and I believe you have enjoyed yourself, and keep it elevate. Same time, we'll be coming back next week. Monday Morning Digest is your show, and thank you for staying tuned in. Keep the word going, and God bless you. Have a great week. Bye.